Somewhere I bet I have a player in my heart. And he gets
Full house.
You know what? Kind of weird.
Yeah, well, hey, good Okay. Okay, we'll call to order the September 17th, 2024 New Harmony Town Council meeting. Everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk Treasurer, you call the roll, please.
Jeff Smotherman.
Here.
Laura Armbert.
Here.
Brad Clark.
Here.
Connie Whitesapple. Here. And Tom Williams.
Here. Thank you. Okay, first order of business will be the approval of minutes of multiple meetings. The first one would be the 8/12/24 special meeting. A motion for that approval.
I so moved.
Motion and second. Second. Have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed. Motion passed. Second meeting would be the 8/20/24 regular meeting. Minutes approved. Motion? Motion, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Yes, no discussion. The next one would be the 8/30/24 executive session memorandum. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed. And the last would be the 9/5/24 special meeting. Need a motion for that one as well.
I move to approve.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next we'll move on to reports of departments. We'll start with Ms. Weinzapple.
Yes, we are starting the more intensive process of the comprehensive plan, and I want to introduce tonight a representative from Rundell Ernstberger in Indianapolis who is working on our comprehensive plan update and our very first Parks and Trails master plan. Dan Liggett is here, and I just wanted him to say a few words about the process and the public workshops.
Excellent. Daniel Liggett from Indianapolis, as Connie said, with REA. In 2 weeks, beginning on September 30th, and we have a bunch of flyers. I see some on the table. I have some here. We will begin the Community Planning Week. And this planning week is focused on developing a vision for your comprehensive plan. It's very important that we hear from all of you. You're the ones who will be determining the future and what it is that makes New Harmony special. We want to hear from you to make sure that vision reflects the values of the people in this room and others. So please tell your friends, your neighbors, your family to attend on September 30th between 6:30 and 8. We will be having a public meeting that night. We will also be having a series of focus group meetings, and those have already started. Meetings with various people throughout the town to understand the questions I just asked, I mentioned here tonight. What makes New Harmony special? What do you want the future of New Harmony to be? We will report back to you on, I believe October 3rd is a Thursday, a draft of kind of what we understand that to be. It's only been 3 or 4 days. It won't be perfect. But that's our way to understand, did we hear you correctly? Are we moving in the right direction? This is simply the starting point for this plan. We want to continue to hear from you. We don't expect to be able to hear everything in 1 week. We think over time, as you review more things or think about things or something comes to mind, please stay in touch with us. We have a project website. It is called newharmonyplan.com. It'll take you to the website. There are surveys that you can take to help answer some questions for us to help guide that vision. I will also be here this weekend for Kunstfest, meeting with visitors and tourists to understand maybe how they see New Harmony, which could be different than how you see it. So we're trying to get a wide array of opinion and thoughts and ideas to make sure the comprehensive plan is truly that. It's comprehensive of the town of New Harmony. You are our experts, so please help us understand that. The process will continue. It doesn't end at the end of October 3rd. It's not the ending point. It will continue throughout the rest of this year and into early next year. As Connie mentioned, concurrently to that, we are also working, very excited about this, the first 5-year parks plan for New Harmony. The reason that's important is it will allow New Harmony to be eligible for funding for your parks through a plan that is reviewed and approved by the Indiana Department of Natural Resources. So we'll be asking questions about the future of your town. We'll also be asking you how you use your parks, what you would like to see in your parks, those types of questions. So we want to hear from you and make sure that those ideas are being reflected. Connie, am I missing anything? Is that a good summary?
Can I ask you to clarify on, we talked about this earlier.
Yes.
First meeting, second meeting, help people understand.
Yes.
Some people were asking me, well, does that mean I could go to either one? Just
Come to
clarify.
every meeting you can. First meeting is where we want to hear from you regarding, and we'll have a variety of stations set up to ask you questions about the town, to make sure we understand, get your opinion on the future of New Harmony. That is September 30th. We will also have a variety of focus group meetings that will provide that input. The second meeting on October 3rd is our very first attempt at drafting a vision statement. So we want to hear from you if that is accurate, or if we missed something, or maybe we need to add to it. There will also be goals and objectives that we will start to draft. So it's simply an opportunity. If you can't make the first one and you can only make the second, please come to the second one, and you can tell us your thoughts and opinions then. This, as I mentioned, this is not an end meeting by any means. It's just the first time that we're presenting something to you based on what we've heard. So please provide us comment online, in person, however you can. Really, between now and the end of the year would be fantastic. Thank you.
Very good, thanks,
Yes.
Dan.
Do you want me to hand these out, or? Sure.
You certainly can.
Okay.
We're hoping that everyone who can use the QR code and do it online, does it online, because any that we get in paper form, somebody's gonna have to enter all the information.
That'll be me, actually.
Well, so
But
do
I'll
it
do-
however
yeah.
you can.
If it's paper's fine, if that's what you prefer.
Yeah. And we do have a number of resident surveys in paper form. If you know people who don't have access to the internet, we have some here. Some of the steering committee members are working on passing those out to people they know who wouldn't have access to the internet. So we're trying to get it out as widely as we can. And we hope you'll help us.
I'll be here for Kunstfest, so if you're sitting in town, if you want to talk to me one-on-one, that's still a fine opportunity to do so. I encourage you to use the website because we are trying to make this process as transparent as we can. We'll be, anything that's presented during the second meeting on October 3rd will go up to the website, so if you can't make it, we will still share that with everyone. We want everyone to understand what's been shared and what's been discussed so far. So, thank you.
Thank you so much. Safe driving home tonight.
Thank you, Connie.
Yeah. So I'll go on and review. The next thing I'll talk about, the trees, the first round of street tree removal and pruning is nearly complete. There are a couple of stumps yet to grind. We're gonna be looking into the next round of trees that citizens have concerns about in the next few weeks. I'll be working with the clerk's office to create a way for the public to see the reports on all the trees that need attention, both that we observe and that citizens observe. As I've been saying, there's a form here at the town hall that you can fill out if you see something that you're concerned about. We are also in the process of developing a list of approved trees that can be planted in the right-of-way. We're gonna have that available by the end of the year, just in time for planting over the winter. And I wanna announce that we have an opportunity to perhaps benefit from a grant that was written for the town of Mount Vernon and the county generally. They have been notified that they have received the grant. They're gonna be creating a map of all their trees in their public right-of-way. And we may be able to dovetail onto that, which would be fantastic and would save us some money. But we're working towards all those things. The other thing I wanted to talk about is asphalt repair. Whenever streets are cut up for utility repair, it creates a break in the surface that our crews have to fill. They fill it with gravel temporarily, and when I ask about this, because I know that, we've had a lot of water breaks the last couple of months, I was told that they wait until they have a certain amount of asphalt, because apparently they have to order a whole bunch of it at a time. So they wait until they have several places. That's why you don't see them repairing with asphalt right away. So be aware that we know about that.
Secondarily, it gives that gravel a chance to pack real tight,
True.
otherwise the asphalt's.
And that's all I have on streetscapes.
Okay, I've got several things. Often don't talk about the solid waste district and our recycling center, but been going to a lot of meetings with that. Just FYI, they are seeking a new executive director for the solid waste district that oversees all of the recycling centers throughout the county. Fairly big job, and they're looking for someone to fill that position. We had somebody hired, and then that person backed out, so we had to retool and start all over again. So if somebody knows somebody interested in that kind of thing, you can talk to me a little bit later. Our sewer plant received its inspection report from Indiana Department of Environmental Management. I'm happy to report that we passed without any real problems or anything. As auditors and inspectors always do, they pointed out a few things that they would like to see us do, which will be on the agenda a little bit later. But the sewer plant received a stamp of approval from IDEM. On the water side, Jonathan Weber continues to take his classes. I haven't talked to you guys about that, but that's a 6-8 week process, and he's about half, 3/4 of the way through it to get his certification and everything. So we're finally moving down that road. On the school property, not to confuse everybody with the comprehensive plan meetings, which start on September 30th. We are having a public meeting regarding the school property, which is next Monday night, the 23rd. It will be at the WMI. You are more than welcome to be there. We will start with a presentation just to talk about how this all came about, why we're even talking about it, and just kind of lay out some of the ideas that have percolated up since, and that we'll be there to answer questions from the public and everything. So make sure you mark your calendars for that this coming Monday night at 6:30 at the WMI. I went to the county.
5:30.
5:30, I'm sorry, 5:30. There are a few flyers around town about that, but we didn't overly confuse everybody with all the flyers about all these meetings. But that's next Monday night. So tell anybody that has opinions or questions about what that project's all about. That'll be this coming Monday night. I did go to the county commissioners meeting this morning where this was talked about briefly. Hadn't got a chance to talk to you, but this is their grant agreement. And I brought you a copy to start to review. I read through it, Nathan, all looks fine to me, but you give it the legal look. And I think that's it. We'll have some sewer plant stuff to talk about a little bit later.
I guess I'll go next. As far as the police, we got a matter we'll get to of hiring our new town marshal here in a minute, but we have a safety recall for you guys on our police cruiser, possible engine failure, but yeah. Ford is working on a program to fix it and will notify us when the car needs to be brought in. Says there's not really huge danger to continue driving it, but they wanted to let us know, I'm sure for legal purposes for sure. But also October 25th is the townwide big trash day. So I want to make a couple of comments. Last spring, we had some issues with people emptying houses and you know, maybe developers or contractors or people buying things that the house was still full or whatever the situation was. That's not the purpose of Big Trash Day for us. It's to get rid of those mattresses or things you've had to hang on to for a month or two because you didn't have a chance to get rid of them, a washer, a dryer, things you can't normally get rid of. So just keep that in mind, so we keep that opportunity open for us for them to do that for us. We do pay for that, you know, so when we empty a whole house or a whole barn or a whole garage or something, it's costing us, we're a contractor or somebody should be paying that for themselves. So just so we know that. That's October 25th, Townwide Trash Day. And then just one other note, as far as the fire department, the burn ban is still in effect and it extended to 10/1, so that everybody knows that. We have a burn ban in effect until 10/1. That's all I have. Anything next?
Yeah. After last month's meeting, Connie and I met with Christy Powell from the Evansville Regional Economic Development Partnership. She is their new Community Development Director, so that's a new position they've established. There used to be a Posey County branch of the Evansville Regional Economic Development, and it's all moved to Evansville. So they hired someone specifically to work with smaller communities like ours, to talk to them about our goals and projects we're working on and just try to help us navigate the system since we don't have kind of a local office. I think we announced last time that we are CBDG eligible again, so that varies with income levels. And Connie and I talked with her specifically about applying to do a master infrastructure study. We've never had a full study of all the town's utilities, water system, blah, 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 to have a long-term plan that goes beyond just one council. And luckily, with the new eligibility, a lot of that would be paid for. So we'll be working on that. The county housing study is still going on, and I'm on the steering committee for that, though there's nothing new to report particularly, but they're still working on that. I think that's supposed to be done by the end of the year. And then I have a PowerPoint. Because this is the first time, when I got elected, I really wanted to advocate for economic development happening in the town government. We've never had somebody on council that was just dedicated to that before. So I spent, and I talked a lot about housing and growth and all the things I feel like are important for this community, but ultimately what anybody sitting on this council should be doing is putting forward the ideas the community has approved, which I wanted to tie this all back to the comprehensive plan that's going on right now and encourage you to put your input in for that, because there is an existing section in the 2008 Comprehensive Plan on Economic Development, and it just hasn't been acted on because there was no one on council in that position paying attention to it, specifically to that section. So I kind of just wanted to go over a few things in here that I think are important to help people understand what I'm working on since it's a new position, and to keep in mind as you're giving your input going forward. So it's only 4 pages, don't worry. But I pulled out a couple of comments I think are really important on the left there, that, and this was all similar process where they got community input and then just kind of put all the comments together and tried to summarize it. To reflect the town's desire to support and strengthen local business, the importance of annual events was something they pulled out in the first page, and the need to create and coordinate marketing efforts to publicize these events to locals. And then I went through and marked out and read all the events that were happening in 2008 that are not anymore, and marked in all the new events and who's hosting them. And you'll see very quickly that about 75% of those events are hosted by One New Harmony, and there will be a theme to my talk. Okay, we'll go to the next slide now. Thanks. The future success of New Harmony is what that should say, will depend on the level of cooperation between organizations in the community. It is incumbent upon the town officials to partner with the public sector to promote and fund opportunities within the community. And again, I'm just pulling out things that I thought were important. There's a lot more in there. It's online. I'd encourage you all to go check it out if you're interested in this. And then they outlined 4 objectives. So those were kind of the big themes. And then the objectives were to develop strategies that retain and attack. That's not what that's supposed to say. Town businesses that serve the needs of residents and visitors alike. Attract was what that was supposed to say. Objective 2, to explore opportunities to increase the existing tax base. Objective 3, to coordinate local and regional economic development resources. That one I think is really important. That's something that somebody on the council can do that really no one else in the community is in a position to do, to represent us with other government entities. Objective 4, to create a marketing plan. Again, marketing, promoting the town's unique cultural and historic features, small town qualities, and strong local workforce. The point I'm going to try to make, and then we have open forum and we're not voting on anything, I'm just putting out ideas, so we're welcome for thoughts, is that these are all the member businesses and organizations that are in One New Harmony. The town has done a lot of things really well for a long time, but one role we have not played is several of the things they're talking about in here is marketing, advocating for tourism, advertising the town, bringing all these people together. But One New Harmony, previously Business Associates, has been doing this for a long time, and they're doing it better than ever, not because I'm president, because they just have been doing a good job of bringing new people in. But I wanted to make this point because if you think of any important business or institution or organization in town, almost all of them will be represented here, and they're at our meetings monthly. I think that's important to say. The next one, Rob. So One New Harmony is the current hub to coordinate volunteers, organizations, businesses. They organize, pay for, and provide volunteers to do the town marketing and events in partnership with Visit Posey County, another important marketing and tourism partner. And One New Harmony, basically the theme of my story is that One New Harmony is fulfilling the majority of the objectives that our current comprehensive plan outlines for economic development. So moving forward, we can either duplicate what One New Harmony is already doing, or we can partner with them and Historic New Harmony and Visit Posey County and all the other institutions in town that are already doing these things and just work with them, which is what I think would probably be easier and make more sense. I should have this up, I'm sorry. Oh, okay, the money part. This is actually really important. So economic development income tax comes from an income tax. It's not property tax. It's a whole separate set of money that comes to the town. We get $40,000 a year in this account, which has only been used in the past 8 to 10 years to pave roads, which is fine. But we've accumulated almost 7 years worth of reserves in this account that has not been spent on anything. So though I'm sure there are people that would disagree with me about my priorities or who we should partner with, but we should be doing something with this money to benefit the people whose taxes are going into that account. The general fund also, so these notes on the third line there, I talked to the State Board of Accounts because each account, I still have a lot of learning to do, but can only be used for certain things. The economic development income tax primarily talks about in usages is bigger development issues, housing, real estate, big things, but it can be used for any lawful purpose. The general fund can also specifically be used for economic development and tourism marketing. So there are several areas in our budget as this new comprehensive plan comes out, and we'll see what the new economic development plan says, because in 2008, the school was open and the bridge was open. It was a very different situation, right? So we'll see what the new priorities are, but we have plenty of money. We have sustainable funding that we are not using, and we specifically can use it for this purpose. And I feel like we should be doing something at this level with that money and the position we're in to do it. So that's it. If you have thoughts during open forum, or even better yet, in the comprehensive plan about how the town can play a better role in economic development and tourism, marketing and housing and all the things that make people come to the town. I just thought it was a good time to talk through some of that.
Thank you. Is that it for you?
Yeah.
Thanks, Laura.
Tom?
I mean, we're all on the same team, right? We
Most
want to play together here, participate. So I was up at the cemetery this morning. It's gorgeous. The mower's doing a great job. I love our cemetery. The riprap that we voted last month to herbicide, I guess, kill the growth that's degenerating the rock system there, the riprap along the river, along the main trail, has been sprayed by the company we hired yesterday. And some of you who've walked the trail probably noticed we had the trail closed yesterday. In the next 2 weeks, you'll see all the invasive growth in the rock system start to die, hopefully. It's not going to be pretty. The hope here is that after this initial professional big kill, our guys will be able to keep it up as we go. The company that did this job is going to give us some time to educate our guys. We don't have a licensed herbicide person. That's something we would like to encourage in the future for our street guys. And the Parks Board is doing a great job. There's lots of things to do. We have a couple presentations later in the meeting from Jeannie Modlin and Andy. I'll let them talk about it. But anyway, yeah, that's good enough. I'm encouraged that we have such a good Parks Board and that they're tackling all the issues as they come up. The 3 trees finally got removed that needed to be, and the stumps are ground now. So we're looking forward to planting some new trees in the park. That's it.
I think you got some good tables in too.
Yeah, well,
Picnic table.
the new picnic tables have come. Some of them are going to be used in the Kunstfest. And, with 6 new tables, it'll allow us to have tables for our new shelter, and also allow us to have tables for our campsites that have also been re-graveled recently. The graveling of the trail along the riverside happened last week as well. I forgot to mention that. And it's a work in progress. It's going to turn out great, but it's not great yet, so be patient with that if you would. I'm confident that in a week or so we'll have it looking as we hoped the new gravel would make it look. But, yeah, I think that's it.
Okay, good deal. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, everybody. Okay, next we'll move on to open forum. Before we start, again, I'd like to announce open forum is for your public comments, questions. We won't answer your questions, but we'll get back to you on your questions. It's not fair to pose a question that we may not be prepared to answer or anything put on the spot like that. But if you have a question in open forum, you're welcome to propose that question and we'll get it back with you on answers. One of us will, or all of us, or whatever. So, but open forums for you to comment on anything you want to. We're trying to keep it to a minute. Go over a little bit, we won't shoot you, but we've got a lot of people in here, and I'm sure a lot of you would like to have something to say. So we'll start with Jan.
A couple of weekends ago, we had a water leak in front of our house. The town guys came at 9:30 that night, worked until 1:30 the next morning to get that fixed. I talked to Rod and told them how grateful we were, but I thought it needed to be said in a public forum so it could be in the minutes. So we have a great bunch of guys working for us, so thank them for us.
We will do that.
Thank you.
Thank from 8 o'clock, or
9:30.
8:30. They were out there earlier than that. I thought that flashlights looking for skunks or something. I don't know what it was. Next thing, the tractor was out there digging a hole. and they worked and stayed at it, and we really appreciate it. Our water was never bothered at all, and if it went the whole weekend, it probably would have been.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for
We will
saying that.
pass that along too as well.
They said the water was warmer than the air that night.
Those,
I took a walk on the trail, I ignored the sign that said closed. And now that I know there's herbicide, is that dangerous? I mean, is it closed because we're not supposed to breathe that?
It's open today.
Oh, it is.
It's not dangerous. It's dangerous to breathe while it's being used. You know, the herbicide is safe for the water. These people are real pros. They have the right stuff. They're coming back in 2 weeks. If they aren't satisfied, they'll redo whatever needs to be done. Yeah, I was down there this morning looking at it and then talking to them on the phone while I was looking at it, and it looks like it's going to work.
okay, thank you. Thanks. You got an answer.
You did.
You got an answer out of those.
I have
Sean.
4 points, but I'll be brief.
I forgot your name for a minute, Sean.
I want to thank Jeff Smotherman for bringing up the ATV topic discussion, even though it's brought up a lot of emotions in town. Thank you for bringing it up. Secondly, at the last meeting, it was stated that the people that own ATVs knew the rules before they bought them. That is false. All of us have one before the ordinance was put in place in 2017. Third, using that same precedent, makes me question why the mosquito spraying stopped when that has happened for years, and then that just stopped all of a sudden. So, and lastly, I'm glad to see there's a special meeting about the school purchase, because that one needs to be thought out slowly.
Thank you.
Come to the meeting.
Yeah.
I will.
David.
David Campbell. I would like the board to send a letter to the Indiana Regulatory Utility Commission to fight these damn bastards at Centerpoint who are always raising their bills. No one is speaking up for the little guy around here. And I think that ought to be done. It costs no money, and it expresses an opinion of the community. And I've asked this before of quite a few of you. And so I'd like to bring it up in a public forum.
Thank you, sir. I don't know.
I'd like to know if the DNR.
Say your name for us first.
Jean Harris.
Okay.
I'd like to know if the DNR has been contacted repeatedly about the changing of the flood zone, because there are properties that could be built upon for those people who want to move to New Harmony, and they're not able to move to New Harmony, is my understanding. Or people who have built and then found out they're having a hard time paying because all of a sudden they're having to have this insurance that they didn't know about. So that's a concern. And I just wanted to know, what were the special meetings that were approved as far as the minutes, but it doesn't say what they were, what they pertain to.
One was for, the executive session was for interviewing our town marshal,
Okay.
looking at resumes, not interviewing, actually. The executive session was to go through the resumes. We had 43 of them. So then the first special meeting was to discuss retention of our clerk treasurer, and the other subject matters were what was that? Discuss regarding the town's website. So that's the minutes. I don't have the minutes. Are available, right? Yeah, they were all posted and stuff, and
The meetings are all on YouTube.
yes, and they're all
I
live.
mean, you can go watch them all. The special meetings, not the executive meetings, those
Yeah.
are private.
Yeah.
Okay,
But the special meetings are all out, go to YouTube, do Harmony Town Council, they're all listed out there. You can, like you,
that's good to know that it's there, because like with New Harmony's, things like Visit New Harmony and our website, things aren't always up to date. And that's, they're not,
Right,
they're not.
right.
I live here and I don't know when things are. Some of that's my own choice not to be on Facebook, you know, and I'll admit that. but I can get on the website, I can get on the Facebook website even without an account. But then the only things that are on there are things for, like the Coons Fest and the regulars. And so then if you're wanting to get more people here,
Okay.
it's not gonna happen if they don't know what's going on.
Okay, special meetings and executive sessions are all posted
All
in,
right,
in
thank
the post office, and I think on the window outside of town hall here, if you get by here, so,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, you're welcome. I'm sorry, Tom?
Tom Guggenheim. Most importantly, I just bought a green picnic table identical to what the town bought. I didn't steal it. To echo her point, base flood elevation is going to be reevaluated by the DNR. That's square for the comprehensive plan. To Dosie's point, there is a no entry time after a spray. So whoever applies it says no entry for this much time, and then you can re-enter. That's part of it. Along with that, I have a pesticides license. I can train your crew if they want to be trained. It can save some money and time. West Nile is detected in Southwest Indiana, so I think we are going to have to take a look at that.
We'll be talking about that on the agenda.
Okay.
So,
Good. If you were on the east side of town, you might have smelled something last night. A hay bale was put onto my land at my tree nursery. I wanted it because I want to just spread it around. It ignited. It caught fire. Fire department came and put it out. It reignited this morning. And it's not a big flame, it's just small.
Spontaneous?
Kind of nice smell. But everybody called in about it. And there was a big barn fire. And I'm putting two and two together. And that's it.
okay, thank you. Yeah, I think that's what happened to the big barn fire out there. I'm not positive, but I'm sorry, I can't see. Oh, go ahead, Judy.
Judy Davis. I'm just wondering, like on the weed ordinance, is there somebody going around checking? I mean, we're surrounded, our house is surrounded by people that do not take care of the weeds. We're up this high in their backyards, needs to be taken care of. It's awful. And that leads to all the mosquitoes.
Thank you.
Diane's been-
Diane, yeah, I know, I've been ignoring Diane. No, I'm kidding.
Diane Sanders with Historic New Harmony. Just wanted to thank you guys for the support for UNIV 101 last week. It was a great event, and everyone appreciated your support with the police presence, and also wanted to thank the community for all the cookie donations. It was very much appreciated by everyone, and just want to say, to Laura's point, we appreciate the partnership and would like to see more of that, so thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All in? All done? Okay, we'll close the open forum. Did I miss somebody? Oh. Okay, next we'll move on to old business. First form of business here would be ATV second reading of the proposed ordinance amendment. And I'll be reading that ordinance number 2024-8. And thank you to Mr. Maudlin here for helping me put this together, or helping us get this together. Whereas IC 14-16-122 allows the town to pass an ordinance regulating the operation of off-road vehicles if the ordinance meets substantially the minimum requirements of IC 14-16-1.
Jeff, you might want to speak a little louder.
Okay, sorry. Whereas the town council of the town of New Harmony now desires to permit and regulate the operation of off-road vehicles on town streets and hereby amend ordinance 2017-6 and chapter 10.16 to the New Harmony Municipal Code. Now therefore be it ordained by the town council, town of New Harmony, state of Indiana now amends ordinance number 2017-6 and chapter 10.16 of the New Harmony Municipal Code as follows. Section 2, or ordinance 2017-6 and section 10.16.20 of the New Harmony Municipal Code are amended to read as follows. Permitted use of off-road vehicles in the town of New Harmony. Off-road vehicles are not allowed to travel in public streets in the town of New Harmony except as follows. Persons who are residents of the town of New Harmony, eligible to register to vote in the town of New Harmony elections, and who hold title to an ORV that is properly registered with the state of Indiana pursuant to IC 14-16-1-18. May operate the person's ORV on the public streets of New Harmony, provided that said operation is strictly limited to the public streets that allow the persons to travel the shortest route practicable between the person's residence and Main Street, so the persons may operate the ORV traveling south beyond town limits. Persons must use the same route when returning to the person's residence. Other travel on public streets is strictly prohibited. Requirements for operator of an off-road vehicle. Pursuant to IC 14-16-120C, an operator of an ORV must be over 18 years of age and possess a valid motor vehicles driver's license issued by the state of Indiana. Use and operation of off-road vehicles on town street speed limit. An operator must comply with the terms and conditions of this ordinance. ORVs are subject to a restricted speed limit of 15 miles per hour. Lights and brakes. Pursuant to IC 14-16-1-21A and B, an ORV may not be operated between sunset and sunrise unless the vehicle has at least one headlight, one tail light, and an ORV may not be operated at any time unless the vehicle has adequate brakes capable of producing deceleration at 14 feet a second on level ground at a speed of 20 miles per hour. Number of occupants. No ORV shall be occupied by more persons than for which the vehicle was designed with designated seatings. All occupants of an ORV must be in designated seating. Duties in the event of an accident. Pursuant to IC 14-16-1-24, the operator of an ORV which is involved in an accident within the town of New Harmony resulting in serious bodily injury or to a death of an individual or property damages in an estimated amount of at least $750 shall immediately notify the state police, the Posey County Sheriff's Office, or the New Harmony Town Marshal. Liability insurance. An operator operating an ORV must possess liability insurance for operation on public streets and roads in the amounts as required by IC 925-4-5. Possession of registration and certificate of insurance. Any person operating an ORV shall carry on their person any registration required under IC 14-16-1 and the certificate of insurance for operation on public streets and roads required under this ordinance for the ORV being operated. Inspection of ORV and permit to operate. All persons eligible to operate an ORV must submit the ORV for inspection annually to obtain a permit to operate the ORV within town limits. Persons eligible to operate an ORV within the town limits must show proof of insurance as described in 10-16-26. The permit shall include the names of the persons authorized to operate the ORV. No more than 2 persons may be authorized to operate any ORV. Inspection shall be completed by the town marshal or designee. The town marshal shall set a reasonable time for inspections and may set reasonable, there will be no penalties for late registration. Because there is not a fee to start with, I'm sorry. Disturbance of roadway. No person shall operate an ORV in such a manner which causes damage to the street or disturbs the surface of the roadway. Any violator of this ordinance, in addition to such penalties set forth below, shall be responsible for all costs or repairs of such damage or disturbance. Mufflers. Pursuant to IC 14-16-1-23A6, an ORV being operated within town limits must be equipped with a muffler in good working order and in constant operation to prevent excessive or unusual noise and annoying smoke. Section 3 of Ordinance 20017 and Sections 10-16030 of the New Harmony Municipal Code are amended to read as follows. Violation penalty. Violation of this chapter shall be covered by the town's general penalty ordinance found in Section 1.08 of New Harmony Municipal Code. Severability. If any section, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase in this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason, the remainder of this ordinance shall not be affected by such declaration and shall remain in full force and effect. Termination of exceptions. The exceptions permitting the operation of ORVs in 10-16-20 terminate 1 year after the enactment of this chapter. Passed and adopted. Well, no, I don't have to read that part yet. Okay, that is the ordinance. We added at the end the proposed ordinance that they would terminate in 1 year from today if passed, and would be looked at or readdressed at the end of 1 year. So That is the reading of the proposed amendment.
Are you saying the ordinance would be reviewed itself?
Yes, the amended,
The exceptions.
the exceptions to the
The exceptions to the rule that there's no ORVs on public streets. And then those, for residents, there are exceptions. And the exceptions terminate.
The amendment is the
1 year from
exception.
date of.
The amendment is the
So we
exception.
readdress it in a year, and we could either make it permanent at that point, or do it year by year.
It would terminate
It
automatically.
terminates, we would have to
Unless we address it
reinstate
and
it.
agree that, okay,
Yeah, we would have to reinstate.
this worked out okay, and then we can make it permanent at that time.
And at
Or
that
do away
time,
with it.
and at that time, we could take comments from the public about it again, so.
Can we get a motion?
I'll make the motion.
A motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Do we have any more discussion on the amendment?
I have a few things to say.
Sure.
Go ahead. So, well, you know, I've gone full circle on this issue. I was quoted after our first meeting saying no brainer. This is great, more commerce for town. And I got a lot of blowback for that. People wanting, not wanting to invite people from out of town to come in on their ORVs or have ORV rallies. I didn't think New Harmony was that kind of town. I wouldn't have had a problem with that, I don't think, if it had been legal for them to come in on Church Street, because that's where they wanted to come. That's where we have gas stations, restaurants. Those are the things that were cited as being inconvenient to our current code. The only legal way we have to come into town is Main Street. And I really, you know, I know you guys wouldn't abuse Main Street, but I'm worried. We're doing a comprehensive plan. We're supposed to be thinking about the future. I'm worried about the future. Main Street is called Main Street for a real good reason. I mean, we've got, you know, Church Park, we've got Robert Gym, we've got the Ford Home, we've got Murphy Park, we've got the Hedge Labyrinth, we've got the cemetery, we've got the downtown business district. All that is on Main Street. So when they're talking about taking the route south out of town, that's Main Street we're talking about. So anybody who has an ORV in town is going to be required to take the main shortest route to Main Street and then go out and then come back. These are popular vehicles. I think there's going to be a lot more ownership with this new ordinance. Now, we're giving it a year. I don't think it's a good idea. I really don't. I don't think it's right to open up Main Street for that kind of traffic as the only way to go. You know, if they could come out Church and go out that way, I'd be all for it. But I don't think this is going to work out well. You know, I mean, if I bought one at my house, I can think of 3 routes that I could take that I could arguably say are the most direct route. And you start multiplying that, and pretty soon, you know, there's going to be traffic throughout every neighborhood. And that's really what I'm not wanting to start. Anyway, that's my opinion.
Any other discussion?
So I know we had a big petition. We've had a lot of people reach out individually. I've had people call me, and this is not an attempt to disrespect any of those people or those opinions that were expressed. I think this is an attempt at reasonable accommodation to folks who live here in town. It's a small group of people. If it doesn't go well, frankly, it's a small town. We're going to know who's doing it. We're going to know it didn't work. I mean, if a bunch of people show up from out of town, we're going to know they're not local, right? I mean, we're going to know there's a problem. I think it's enforceable. it's limited, and if it doesn't work, then we'll revoke it, right? I mean, so I hope everybody who spoke out doesn't feel like your voice wasn't heard. It certainly was, and we tried to limit this as much as possible to accommodate citizens in town on both sides of the issue. And it's never perfect.
I'd like to point out that part of the compromise, this does not include driving the ATVs to a gas station.
Yeah, it says from your house.
It
out of
says
town.
from your house,
Get
the
gas
most
and
direct
bring it
route, and don't screw this up. It has to, by resolution, be readdressed in a year. And I'm with Laura. I think it's a reasonable compromise that, we've gone through the saucer grinder of public comment, giving everybody a chance to really vent this out. And I think it's a reasonable compromise where we've ended up here. So I would support the proposal.
Anybody else? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? I'm sorry, roll call, on the roll call.
No, we don't have to roll call because we're not screening, or we're not.
Unless they
Okay.
request, somebody can request a roll call if you choose, but it doesn't matter.
That's
That's up
when
to you.
we're doing a
It's
Zoom
up to you.
meeting. Somebody's
Okay.
not here.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nay. Motion carried. Thank you all for your patience. And thank you all for all of your input on all of this. We'll look at it again in a year. Okay.
Somebody put that in the calendar.
Yeah. Ann's got.
I got a hunch we'll get reminded.
Yeah. Yes.
Should people have their ORVs
Yeah.
get the permit first?
Yes, give us a couple of weeks, Ann and I, to get the permits together. Our town marshal, is gonna be hired tonight, and if it gets done sooner, we can get them inspected and stuff. And I'll do the inspection until he's ready, if we have to do that as well. But I've already written up the actual permit application for Ann, and she just gotta get it typed up and everything. And then we gotta figure out something, to put on your vehicle or carry in your pocket or whatever, how we can get this, or whoever's doing it, so. Hope that's reasonable, and if we get it done sooner, we'll let you know. And I appreciate that I meant to say something about that, so. Okay, moving on to, the health visit on mosquitoes.
Mosquitoes. So, like I said I would, I met with Doug Ginder. He is the Southern Medical Entomologist for the Indiana Department of Health. He visited New Harmony on September 5th. He met with me, Jeff Smotherman, and Brian Strader, the maintenance supervisor for the town. We drove around New Harmony into neighborhoods, parks, down by the river to assess what could be done to combat the mosquitoes. He explained that we have two types of mosquitoes. The nuisance are floodwater mosquitoes that hatch out in large numbers after heavy rains in low-lying areas by the river, and also the variety that carries West Nile virus and other diseases. The disease-carrying mosquitoes breed in areas that have decaying matter, like in your gutters and in the trays underneath your flower pots. Doug explained the difference between larvicide and adulticide in battling mosquitoes. Fogging, like the town has done before, only kills flying adult mosquitoes. In other words, depending on atmospheric conditions, a new batch of mosquitoes would hatch out in 1 to 7 days after a fog. It is a different hand-applied treatment that would kill the larva. He stated that larviciding areas, by the Wabash River particularly, would take a lot of time, even if we had the proper equipment, which we don't, and would potentially be difficult to reach and treat, especially when flooded, when they're hatching out. Doug further discussed the science of the product that is used in the fogger. He stated that if it is sprayed after sunset, It would have very minimal effect on pollinators like bees because they are dormant, and moths because they are considered large-bodied insects. Doug recommended that fogging should be done if West Nile virus is found in New Harmony. He also committed to testing mosquitoes in New Harmony monthly beginning next year. Now, when he was here on September 5th, they set up traps down by the sewage treatment plant. They had 2 collections. They did not get a large number of mosquitoes, but they are being tested, the results of which we do not have yet. It'll be another week. Doug strongly urged the public to take precautions like wearing insect repellent, limiting outdoor exposure, especially at sunrise and sunset, and cleaning gutters and anything else that holds organic matter and water around your property. Further, Doug Ginder will come to New Harmony before the next mosquito season and give a public talk about mosquitoes and take questions from the audience. Therefore, this is what I want to suggest to my fellow council members tonight. Doug told me on the phone a couple of days ago that the number of mosquitoes with West Nile virus in the surrounding area, Warwick, Gibson, and Vanderburgh counties, has increased dramatically in the last 2 weeks. So I would like to suggest that whenever West Nile virus or other disease is found in collected samples, in this case, since we don't have ours back, but the surrounding counties do have West Nile, that we go ahead and fog. I would also like to suggest that in spring, when the mosquitoes hatch out, which is one of the times when they're at their very worst, that we fog then too. We might also consider before major holidays when people want to be outside, like Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. But most importantly, I want to remind the citizens of New Harmony, don't get the idea that you're safe from West Nile because we're fogging, because you're not. And anyone that knows the science of it will tell you this. You really are your own best defense in making choices about your exposure to West Nile virus and mosquitoes. So,
Any action on any of that?
do you want to vote? What is the pleasure of my fellow council members? I will put that in the form of a motion if you'd
How
like.
often were we fogging before? We clarify that.
Randomly, as far as I could tell. Do you
I-
have an
I-
idea?
I asked Brian Strader, and he said they only fogged twice last year, but seasons and rainfall, and all those different things, I think.
What are you
predicated
proposing
that.
numbers-wise of fogging?
Well, we don't know because we'll have to rely on the testing.
Right.
I mean, we have to, I feel we have to fog when we have West Nile. Now, it's just ticked up again in the last couple of weeks, so.
Is there a recommendation, like, do you do it every other day, or? Well,
Once a week.
Once a week at
Well, that's what
max.
I'm
He said
asking.
once
a
a
Oh,
week
okay.
at the
Yeah,
max.
yeah, once a week?
Once a week when we
Okay, well,
have the,
I would
you know,
make a motion that we start fogging once a week.
as long as
When we have
we
West Nile.
have West Nile.
As long as there's a surrounding threat.
We'll get our
Because,
own
you know,
sample
even
back.
though we don't have it, we might, but we might not. But if it's not close, let's just,
Well, he could just
See.
call us and notify us when there's a disease in the area that we need to know about.
Yeah, and we can look on the state's website as well, the
Yeah.
Department of Health website.
This gentleman also tests for, he's from the southern region, from Benson's down, and does all the tests. He does testing in Mount Vernon.
All the
And
way
stuff as
across
well.
to Ohio. So it's kind of a big deal that he's gonna start testing for us.
And it's,
Yeah.
it's no charge, it's from the state, so, that's a good thing.
how is that testing done?
They actually collect mosquitoes. They have you know, rotten
Well, you had
matter.
mentioned traps before. I
Well,
just wanted you
I'll
to
tell you
explain
what it is. It's like a bucket.
Yeah.
And it has a tube on it with a fan that pulls the mosquitoes up. And then there's a net on top where they actually collect them.
Yeah, right.
And then they pull the net off and they throw it in the freezer until Doug can come and get them. I mean, that's how it's done.
I will say, he said they test around sewer plants because that's the most obvious place that a West Nile virus disease mosquito would be because of that water. So that's when they test it. Okay, I had a couple of motions here.
Comment? Okay.
Do what?
I have one last comment.
Oh, I'm
If I can
sorry.
throw
Yeah,
that
I'm
out.
sorry. No,
I just want to clarify, because I know this has been a really hot topic, and at least for me, it helped to understand. The reason there was not an open forum or a public meeting or whatever before this happened, if we're spending money, if we're changing an ordinance, we vote on it. This was something that happens within Connie's department that she spoke to the employees about, and they made this choice. I realize it was not popular with a lot of people, but that's the reason there was no process behind it. If Jeff talks to one of the employees, the town marshal, about public safety, they can make decisions within his department up to a certain level, and this was considered within that level. We weren't spending money, in fact, we were saving money because we weren't spraying, and there was no ordinance saying that we needed to spray. I just wanted to try and explain why things happened the way they did, because I don't think that was clear in the beginning. Knowing that it's been something people had a lot of opinions about, understandably.
Both
We've
ways.
been trying to.
Both ways.
Both
Yeah,
ways.
both ways. Explain more and hopefully have more of a process going forward than just someone's opinion.
I have one last question. Is it true that he stated that fogging is not harmful to humans?
He did not say that specifically. And I'm not a scientist, so I'm not gonna quote studies, et cetera.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking if he addressed it. Okay.
No, he did not.
But he did specifically say that it does not cause harm to pollinators, moths, butterflies, things of that nature.
His description was that the particulate we spray in ULV, ultra low volume is what we spray. The particulate is so small, falls to the ground so fast that it was less harmful to larger insects, bees or moths or, you know.
Okay. It's the fact that the mosquito is so tiny that gets it caught in their breathing apparatus. Thank you.
Okay. And we need to clarify, I mean, you made a motion and you made a motion. I don't know where we're.
Well, I think somebody needs to make a definitive motion on what we're doing.
Okay.
I thought she asked for a motion.
No, she turned hers to a motion.
I said that mine could be a motion, and mine includes spraying after evidence of disease in mosquitoes here when we start our own testing and around us until then, and in the spring when they hatch out, and possibly, depending on conditions, before the major holidays.
Okay.
That's my motion.
We have a motion.
How about events like?
Yeah.
We're not gonna ask questions and stuff right now, but that's something you can ask us individually, and we'll discuss too, so.
So we basically have what we had before, which is that it's at the discretion of the town staff. Only we're putting the contingent on that if there's disease in the area, we will definitely spray. But other than that, we're basically saying what we were doing before.
Yes.
Pretty much.
But under the circumstances, we very well could fog before Queen's Fest this weekend, right?
And we will.
Yes,
because
because there is,
That's gonna
in the area, there is West Nile virus, yes.
Was there a second?
Not 10th, there wasn't a
I'll
second.
second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Point of clarification, is
Point of
this every other week? No?
I think we said at
No.
discretion,
The discretion is.
unless there was disease.
Depending on the conditions.
Decided by?
Decided by
The crew and
the department heads.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Just,
I mean, clear,
Yeah.
is that clear?
No.
Okay.
It's a good question. It
Yeah,
needs to
I
be-
thought we
needs to
were-
be clarified who's gonna make that
I
call.
thought we were waiting on the state to make that call, this guy, to let
for
us.
West Nile, definitely.
Because we already know it's in the air.
But if there aren't a lot of bad mosquitoes 3 days before 4th of July, we might decide not to spray.
Sure.
I mean, that's where the discretion is. It's never when there's disease.
If there's disease
I
present.
just wanted that to be clear. that
Well,
we're not
I think
deciding, it's not purely our decision.
Not
when to
about
spray.
disease, certainly.
When it's disease present in our testing, once our testing starts, we will spray weekly or at the discretion of the department head and our crew sprayers. If there's not disease present
Then we'll see
before
how it is.
holidays or whatever, along those lines. Clear? You clear? I mean, is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, more clear? All right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Next, REA comprehensive plan.
Well, that's
Way to
done.
do it, but-
You're done?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did that up front.
Okay. New business. Okay, now we'd like to open the public hearing on the proposed budget for 2025 for Town of New Harmony. So the public hearing is now open to any questions or comments on the budget for 2025. Anyone have any comments or questions? It's published.
It was published?
It's always published. Yeah.
Where?
Where?
In the government book
Gateway.
gateway.
Well, now they
What's
people
that?
know that.
And on the,
Where is that?
And, well,
And on the front
and
door.
on the front door out here too, as well, so. Is it on the website or anything?
Yes, it's on Gateway. You can take a look at all of our finances, everything to do, you can drill down and see how much everybody makes.
Year round.
It's all on Gateway. Just Google it. Indiana Gateway, all the records are completely public. And they're all out there. You can go look at them and see all the different funds and everything.
That's not just during budget.
I mean, I could noodle around here and find it for you, but just Google Indiana Gateway and it's all out there. And these things are all published out there. That's how they get done.
Any questions or comments? Oh, go ahead, Barb.
I just have a question. Is this the proposed budget for next year?
For 2025,
Okay,
yes.
what has been done to put into the budget money for the Parks Board? That's always been kind of a separate thing. It's always been a little issue, and they don't have money to do what they are supposed to do.
That's
Is
not
it
appropriated.
going to be a separate item you're gonna fund?
That is, I can kind of answer this, and we have Carla here for this purpose tonight.
Yeah.
That is not an appropriated budget item, so that's something we can do without a budget approval. We're budgeting for the appropriated item. I think there's eight. Carla, you want to explain better than I
There's
can?
11 funds.
11
And
funds.
the park fund itself is a budgeted fund.
Okay.
It's on
There
here.
were no specific requests put in for anything at the park to be budgeted. So the park budget itself basically covers what it always covers, which is utilities, insurance, that type of thing. There are some other funds that can be used for park items, which I've talked to Jeannie and Zach both about. But unless we know.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just put in $100,000 for buildings, then you decide you wanna, build something else. I mean, it needs to be designated, and we need to know ahead of time to put that in there. And it would have to be put in another fund besides the park fund, because the park fund doesn't have the revenue to support anything like that.
And next year's budgeting cycle will have the parks plan that's being done now.
Right.
So hopefully we can use
Right.
that to
But
create
you
a
gotta
whole
have a
budget.
basis.
Putting it in there.
Because we don't have it yet, we didn't change it yet.
Yeah,
The
and-
Parks Board is supposed to submit their budget to
I know
us
that,
as a
but
part
it
of the
hasn't
project.
been.
That hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
That will happen
It
next
will.
year. That'll
It
happen
will.
next year.
It hadn't happened in the past, so
Right.
we're working on this.
Well, that's all.
So they're working on this, and we'll work with them definitely, sure, for sure. Any other questions?
Really, is that appropriate right now? Just to clarify the budget, we've all said, like, when you hear the word budget, you think like, oh, we're spending this much on toilet paper, whatever. That is not how the town budget works. If you look it up, it's how much you're putting in a certain fund, not what you're spending it on. It's a very odd system to most of us that budget very differently. So do look it up, but it's probably not going to be what you're expecting. I'll just say that.
It's government work.
Yeah, it doesn't clarify exactly what money is spent on what things, just what is going into each fund. Is that?
And that is the proposed budget, which will be reduced by statutory limitations. Every one of those funds will be. I just have always made the budgets high because the revenue estimates could change between, July in December when it gets approved. So
We,
those are just proposed numbers.
we set the proposed spending before we know how much money we have.
Right.
We don't, most budget, you would think, well, I don't know, let's start with how much money do we have, and then let's figure out how we're gonna spend it all. It doesn't work that way, and I know that's incredibly complicated, and you're thinking, boy, he's making a yarn up there. It's true.
It
We
wasn't our
we
idea.
submit a budget to the state, they look it all over, bless on it, and then they tell us how much money we're gonna get in taxes.
Okay, that's all. We're gonna close the public hearing on the proposed budget. Thank you. Okay, next we are on to the sewer plant improvement. Rod?
Okay, I will try to make this as quick as possible. We continue to have repair and maintenance issues with the sewer plant. Nothing that gets us in any violations or anything. Like I said, IDM gave us a good passing of health, but there are 3 expenditures here, one of which has turned into an emergency spending, which I've already approved, because it turned into an emergency expenditure. So I gave this to all of you, the one that said Lakeside, that went in all of your in baskets. We had some noise happening down there, just to make this simple for everybody. And we didn't quite know what the problem was, but our sewer operator, Farrar, ended up calling in somebody to check it out. Basically said, it looks like you need a new gearbox, you need a new pinion gear, which is the thing that turns the big apparatus for the agitator, okay? This was just last week on Thursday or Friday, and I said, got a meeting on Tuesday, give me an estimate as quick as possible, we'll get this approved and get it done. That gearbox ended up breaking the shear pin, which is the pin in the middle of all the gears that turns everything. And we realized that, okay, we got to get this thing ordered ASAP because it has an 8 to 10 week waiting period on it. So it's going to be 8 to 10 weeks to get here. It's breaking the shear pin, so we put a heavier bolt in it in the meantime. That could eventually, strip the gears, but, we got to do what we got to do to get by here. So this one from Lakeside, which was for, it says Winsmith reducer for $11,000, half horse motor and the pinion gear. I went ahead and told him to get it ordered because it was an emergency thing. I didn't figure we needed to wait around on that one because there was no choice. We got to do it and had to do it as quickly as possible. So that one we don't need to deal with tonight because we've already dealt with it on an emergency basis. The other 2 expenditures are a bit discretionary. They involve 2 things. The UV lights, which are the last treatment of our plant where the water comes out of the agitator, all the solids are removed, and the water is headed to the river, passes through UV lights, which basically removes any remaining bacteria or anything. Once it goes through that, theoretically, you should be able to drink it, and before it goes to the river. Those panels are about 20 years old. Our operator down there is telling us, look, we keep replacing the bulbs, but they're about 20 years old. It's probably time to replace all of these panels and everything. That is the estimate you have in front of you for $29,000. So it's critical, it's important. That's the one that's from Trojan, which is sort of the 100,000-pound gorilla in that technology. Yeah. And by the way, we've been told by more than one person, that's still state-of-the-art technology on treatment plants, and that's the Cadillac on how to do it is with these UV lights before things go out. That's $29,000. Okay, in our IDM inspection, our IDM, the guys from Indiana Department of Environmental Management said that they highly recommended and suggested to us that instead of our operator going down and taking samples once a day himself, that we go to an automatic sampling system to where there's a unit that automatically pulls a sample out of the stream that gets tested to make sure everything is okay. The way that works now, our operator shows up, he takes his sample, does his testing, everything's okay, we're fine. IDM says we have a little bit of problem with that because the operator could show up whenever he wants to show up to take the sample, And they are saying, we want you to go to an automated system where it would take small samples throughout the day. And then when he gets there, he pulls it out, and that's what he uses to do his readings, okay? Those are basically little bitty refrigerators, because it's taking those samples throughout the day, keeping it in a beaker. It's got to be kept temperature controlled and everything. In the summertime, don't want to get too hot because bacteria will grow in it before he gets there. In the wintertime, it's got to be protected so it doesn't freeze. So that's what you saw in here. There were 2 units. One looked like that. One looked like that. One was for around $10,000. The other was around $9,500. I would suggest that we let our operator make the decision on which one he wants to go with. So I'll make a proposal here on spending some money in just a second. Before we do that, however, I would like to ask for unanimous consent to deal with our ARPA funds. Let me get it here. So during the coronavirus epidemic, we were granted money for the federal government. In that fund, there was $38,000. This is as of, and I suppose this hasn't changed. At the end of August, there was $38,829 in that fund. We have to have a plan on how we're going to spend that money by the end of the year. We have to have a resolution that says that we planned on spending that money in a particular manner. Then it frees it up to where we can spend it in that manner. One of the manners that is allowed to spend those funds are on water treatment or wastewater treatment programs. So I would like to, I would make a motion for unanimous consent because this didn't get on the agenda. I would move for unanimous consent so we can address the issue of the ARPA funds and how we're going to spend those. So we need a vote on whether or not we have unanimous consent to deal with it.
We got a motion for unanimous consent to consider the ARPA funds. Have a second?
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, Rod.
That being done, I've already laid out, I think, you know, there's 38,000 there. We've got probably right at 40 here to spend, and so we basically, I would suggest that that's how we spend our ARPA funds is on the sewer treatment plant. So my proposal would be that we designate the ARPA funds toward repair, maintenance, and upgrades at our sewer treatment plant.
Is that a motion?
That is a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Discussion? So are you,
So this is not the proposal to spend any money. This is designating that we're going to spend our ARPA funds toward.
just designating ARPA funds that we have on hand
Yeah, and then once
towards
if
sewer
we get through
repair.
this, you all approve, then we'll come back to the
I'm really
dollars.
glad you're doing this, Rod.
Yeah, me too.
Great job.
Well, it's a way of spending money, you know, we're making these upgrades and the federal government's paying.
This is the perfect way to spend that money.
Okay, any other discussion on spending the ARPA funds on sewer upgrades? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay. Now your proposal.
Okay, now my proposal would be that we go ahead with the upgrade to the UV lights. That estimate's for $29,016. I will bundle these together. I would move that we spend the money to go ahead and upgrade those UV panels at the $29,000. And I would also, you know, he pulled a couple estimates for me just to give me an idea of what they cost. One was for a little over 10, one was for 9. So I would propose that we approve spending a not to exceed number of $11,000 toward the automatic sampling. That way we give him the discretion, Jason, because he's seen these, he knows them before, and let him pick which one he wants. But just do it on a not to exceed 11,000 on that.
Okay, so we.
You know what, hang on, let me see if there's tax and stuff on here.
There can't be.
There's not tax on there, so I would propose we change it to $12,000.
But there won't be.
But I guess you're right.
No, there won't be
There
tax
won't
on
be
that.
tax.
Okay.
There won't be.
Then 11 is fine. Back to my original.
Okay, we have a motion on the UV lights at 29,016, and then not to exceed 11,000 on the automatic sampler. We have a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. We're doing a lot of work at our sewer plant, spending a lot of money. but it's in need.
It has,
Believe me,
had a
it's in
whole lot of
need.
money put into it.
We've been having regular visits with IDM, so. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Okay, next.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for your work on that. Okay, next we have on the agenda to hire our new town marshal. It is Jonathan Heslett is a candidate out of, we had 43 resumes that we went through to work on this and to pick a new town marshal. We narrowed it down to 7, and Jonathan Heslett is our decision that he is the one we have decided to vote on.
Well, I might point out for the public, we've already voted on another guy who
Yeah.
resigned.
Well, or who went.
Yeah, so
Well,
not
he
to
withdrew.
confuse everybody, yeah,
He
we did
withdrew
not-
his name. He never, yeah, he withdrew. He withdrew his.
before
yeah,
he started.
Before he started, yes, he withdrew, so. But to say this, they were 1 and 2, and out of 43, these two gentlemen were, and we're very pleased to have the chance to hire the one we have here tonight before us. Okay, I'll say this, Jonathan has been offered the position of town marshal for the town of New Harmony at a starting salary for his position of $55,000 to be paid on a semi-monthly basis. He's eligible for health benefits, but has declined that should he get the job. It doesn't need it as he is retired from the United States Army and doesn't require health benefits for he or his family. He will be provided training, needed equipment, and to successfully carry out the job as town marshal. All of his training, equipment, and everything is provided by the town. Because of the investment, we ask a payback agreement be signed for the first 3 years of employment. Should you leave your employee within 18 months, you will be required to pay back the full investment made on training and equipment. From 18 months to 3 years of employment, you would be required to pay back 50% of the investment. There will be no payback requirement after 3 years of continuous employment. Those were some of the specifications we laid out and discussed with Jonathan. He has agreed to these terms if we vote to hire him as our new town marshal. So do I have a motion to hire Jonathan Heslett as
Second
town
on public
marshal?
safety, I so moved.
Town New Harmony. Got a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Yes, now I can introduce our new town marshal. Jonathan Heslett is with us, and his wife Beth. His wife Beth. He's already signed the agreement too. So
They live just outside of town,
yeah,
so.
so we're
gotta
excited
look
to have them here, have Jonathan with us. Jonathan has an extensive career, retired from the United States Army, 3-year stint with, thank you for your service. Along with 3 years with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, so he is gonna be doing some training. He still has to go to the police academy and stuff, so, but he's already wearing the badge, I think, back there. So we're excited to have them both here. We
Yeah.
appreciate you very much, Jonathan, and we'll do anything we can to help support you in this endeavor with us, okay?
We might wanna thank Aaron Strong.
Yeah, and Aaron Straub has been very instrumental in helping us so far with all of this and helping Jonathan. He's going to continue to help him get through all the processes of certifications and stuff. And as we all need, be able to help him where we can. But I do appreciate Aaron Straub very much. He's been very open to helping us and stuff. So, but thank you, Jonathan. We appreciate it. Look forward to working with you. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Watch out for those ATVs too.
Yeah, there's your ATV enforcement, everybody.
There's you guys. You guys have got them. Stand up over here.
It was discussed.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, we did discuss it with him for sure in interviews, for sure. Okay, thank you. I'm excited about that. Okay, next we have a town hall bathroom renovation. Do you want to speak on that?
This does not fall under sewer, I think.
Here's this if you need it.
No, nor does it fall under street standards.
No, it doesn't. No, it really falls under me, I guess.
Well, so there's been some kind of leaking in the restroom here at Town Hall, and all the subfloor needs to be completely replaced. So Ann got an estimate of nearly $2,500 for that. And I started thinking about, okay, if we're gonna spend that much, is there a way we can make that restroom accessible? If we're gonna go to that expense. So I asked Nathan to look into it. I asked an architect if they could help us with that. Because I think we might want to look at that, and Ann assures me that it's probably not going to fall in between now and next month, hopefully. So we're going to look at it, let's say that.
Okay.
I don't want to take any action tonight.
No action
but-
tonight? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We do have a quote here, but no action tonight. We're still in the investigating process of those repairs. Okay, next on the agenda, we have campsite reservations, and Andy Batt is representing the Parks Board and making this presentation here, I guess.
Andy, can I suggest you come to the corner here so the camera catches you?
All right. Okay, as Secretary of the Parks Board, I want to report that we have approved within the Parks Board putting our campsite reservations at Murphy Park online. However, we realize that the town council needs to approve this because there's a certain fee structure involved in this and we can't approve that expenditure. And then also, it needs to be approved and decided on by the clerk treasurer to put the final steps in place to receive those monies into our bank account from the payment processor. So what we voted on was that this will expedite the process for anyone that chooses to camp in Murphy Park and make it easy to scan a QR code or punch a code in, or even come to town hall and do the same thing and do this online. Campers across the country are used to this. It's just like doing an Airbnb. And currently many of our campers are there hoping that the town marshal isn't working and isn't going to catch them, and they don't pay. So what the fee structure is that we're asking you to be aware of and approve is that the reservation, Firefly is the same company that does Reserve America and the campsites for all the Indiana state parks and many of the parks around the country. And it's a $3.50 fee. That is their fee structure per reservation. And it's customary for these campsites for the host company, New Harmony, to add that fee to the fee structure the camper is paying. So you recover that. So we're net neutral on that. The other part of the fee structure is that it has to be paid with a credit card, and the credit card payment service takes 2.9% and a 15-cent per transaction fee, and there is a $10 a month monthly subscription fee, and that's the fee structure for them. And with that, what we've voted to do is to increase the rate for the electrical sites by $5, keep the non-electrical sites, which is 2 of those, at the $20 rate, but then we'll also have sales tax in that. And so with that, there are no termination fees, no cancellation fees, no other fees as such. And we would have QR signs in the park and here and on the New Harmony website. Push a button and you can make your reservation, pay online, and simplify the process for all involved.
So the town marshal track the reservations and know.
Yeah, so what is, the system is very versatile. It would allow us to set up emails for every time someone makes a reservation. It would go to anyone that we choose. They'll receive that reservation. They will receive notice of reservation. It requires the camper to agree to our rules, put in their vehicle license plate numbers, and so forth. And then the town marshal could either look at that email or pull a report from the website that he would have access to should he choose, or we find out here at the end of every day, here are the campers that are paid for, and here's their vehicles. and so forth. So it does automate the process, and it does allow for reporting. It allows for reporting down to the line item account level for the town treasurer to say, here's how much we received in revenue, here's the $350 convenience fee we received, here's the money that's going to go back to Firefly, and here's the credit card fees that we paid, so that all of those accounts can be accounted for.
Has the Parks Board considered, I mean, drop-ins like we get now? How will somebody that drops in on a Saturday evening when nobody's around here or anything, it may not even be the town marshal, that which spot is reserved or which one they could pull into or something? Or...
Yeah, so there'll be signs in the park as you come in, as well as on the side, as well as on the two on the telephone poles that say reserve, pay online. And when they go to that, it'll say, do you want to make a reservation? And you can verify what site is available. Because quite frankly, you could come in at 3 o'clock and say, well, I'm going to take this site when someone else has a reserve and just hasn't shown up yet. So by doing all of that, and then the town marshal would have access to see, well, who actually did pay for that site. And I think that, you know, people will kind of work it out when they say, okay, I paid for it, what are you doing here?
Is there an advertising benefit to this? If people get on that system, they'll see our site that may not have known it was there before?
There can be, and we're not proposing to be part of Reserve America and to promote it. We're proposing that we would make this QR code available in town, in the park, and also at Harmony State Park for overflow basis, because they send overflow to us, and instead of someone driving down here and seeing that we're full or camping somewhere that they shouldn't, they can check right there at Harmony and pull it up and see if there's a site available.
So is there an extra fee to be part of Reserve America? I've used that system.
Yes,
Yeah.
if you choose to, you could. There's a fee structure that we're not interested in at this time to promote your campsite. So when someone puts in to come to this area, it could pop up and say, well, what about, you know, and we're not suggesting that at this time.
Not sure we want to promote that hard camping in
Right.
Murphy Park. I mean,
We're not that big.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I don't
We have
wanna
9 spots.
Don't want to compete with the state park.
You know.
Right.
Anybody.
So what are you looking for us tonight to approve what?
So we're asking for approval to approve the fee structure of having the $3.50 reservation fee that will be reimbursed, and for the credit card transaction fees. And this merchant account that would be established has to be by credit card requirements, separate from any other merchant account that you do for utilities or whatever, because it's a separate SIC code for this. So we're asking for that approval, and then the final decision and implementation would be up to the clerk treasurer.
What that's going to say. Okay, so the last question is okay, have you guys talked this out, and does this all work for you, or?
We've talked about it, but I have not investigated.
Right.
I've not been able to.
We realize that you're overwhelmed
Yeah,
just
you got a
getting
lot going
established
on
with
right
what we already have going on here. So Andy's talked about it. You know, this can be, we would like you guys to approve it and not implement it right away, maybe implement it in the spring.
Yeah.
You know, by then, hopefully, things will be settled down for you a little more, Ann, and it'll be a piece of cake, you know. But Andy's done a lot of great work on this, and I think, you know, it's modern times. This is what campsites do.
I would agree.
The concept is, yeah.
I would agree, and if this all sounds confusing and everybody, oh, well, what if this, what if that? Look, we got a whole lot of what ifs with our own system. You know, that people just show up and, you know,
Well,
if our town marshal goes by and collects the fee, we get it. If we don't, I mean.
It's been dysfunctional for a long time.
This is a good solution.
Well, you also have someone of a record of who's there and stuff
That's
too,
right.
and
Right.
kind of a safety factor there too. You know, I think it sounds good. I'm in line with, at her discretion, when we implement this, working with you guys. You don't have to start up with anything even now, paying any fees or anything
No.
early on. There's no cost
No,
until
there's
we
no-
implement.
There's no cost until we do one of two things. There's no cost until we accept a reservation. The system is up, but it's completely blocked out. No one can reserve. So I can demonstrate the system, but there's no cost unless we accept a reservation, and then it's $3.50. But I've got that blocked.
What about the monthly fee?
And the monthly fee, yes, we would not want to, we wouldn't do the monthly fee until she provides the banking information on where that money goes, and that wouldn't happen until she makes that decision.
Do we do the implementation?
And even if we go ahead and approve the new fee structure and everything, if she comes back to us in February, she could, I recommend you don't do this, if she had big concerns.
I would say we just want to make sure that as her plans to change some of these things go forward, that this works seamlessly.
Right.
Because we don't want to create a separate thing.
Or going
It's gonna
back,
be
or
more-
going back and redoing something.
Yeah.
The timing's really good in that regard.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's better knowing what we're planning on for the future to work them all together at the
Right.
same time. I agree. Okay.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you for your.
Appreciate all your work, I know it's a lot.
Work all the work.
so
Need a motion?
I would like to make the motion that we accept this new plan to be implemented at Ann's discretion.
Have a motion to accept the proposed plan for the Parks Board and the park, and a second. Any more discussion? Ann, you good with that?
Who was second?
Laura.
Laura. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Andy, and the Parks Board. Thank you all for that. Okay, next we have another Parks Board member here. Jeannie Maudlin.
Good evening, I'm Jeannie Maudlin, and I'm the president of the New Harmony Parks and Recreation Tree Board. And I have something for each of you so that you can see while I'm talking. So I'm here tonight to ask that the town council respectfully declare October 19th as New Harmony's Arbor Day celebration. As you know, Arbor Day is normally done in the spring. Here in New Harmony, we like to do it in the autumn because we know that it's better to plant trees in the autumn than it is in the spring. So at any rate, October 19th is the third Saturday in October, and that is traditionally when we have done this. So Jeff has it in his inbox, but I have another one for you if you need.
I have it here.
He's already filled it out. That's wonderful.
Would you like me to read? Would you like me to read this? Go
Yes,
ahead.
would you please? Thank you.
Okay, whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce life-giving oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and beautify our community, whereas trees in our town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. And I would like to ask for a motion to declare October 19th, 2024 as Arbor Day in New Harmony, Indiana.
I'll make that motion.
We have a motion and a second.
Second.
A second, any discussion? Okay, I'm Jeff Smotherman, President of the Town Council. Oh, let's vote. Let's vote. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself. Everybody in favor? Aye. All opposed? Okay, now I, Jeff Smotherman, President of Town Council of New Harmony, Indiana, do hereby proclaim October 19th, 2024 as Arbor Day in the town of New Harmony. And I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And I urge all citizens to plant trees, to care for trees, to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. Thus dated this day.
Thank you.
September.
Well said.
Very good, very good.
So
Thank you for your work.
it's our pleasure. And so to follow up with that, I'm happy to tell you that our Arbor Day tree this year will be a Shumard oak. Is anyone from the garden club here? The garden club has spearheaded this. They felt like they needed some more shade covering their plantings. So the garden club has already voted on and approved the expenditure of $530. That is the cost of a tree that will be sourced from Ancient Roots Native Nursery in Poseyville. It's a big tree. Has a decent girth. And so at any rate, the site has been, and it's marked, you'll see your map. Additionally, to follow up with that, as to Arbor Day, shall we say 10 o'clock at Murphy Park, whatever your, they will have a ceremony to dedicate our tree at Murphy Park on the 19th of October, and so that will happen. Additionally, we're so happy to not only have the Garden Club helping us with this year, we also have the Working Men's Institute and the Kiwanis Club in that. Your new clerk treasurer will be reading the Kiwanis Story Hour book, and the book is called The Tree Book, and that will take place on the 24th of October, and she will have drawings and whatnot from the students or the children who come to participate, and if you all will agree, the drawings and whatnot, could we please hang them in Town Hall as showing our Arbor Day?
There may be some space for that.
So it's super exciting. Isn't that fabulous? It's just wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, and then following just up a wee bit more, so the Parks Board approved this year that for every tree removed, we would plant 3. 3 big trees, 3 to 1, right? 3 big trees have come out. So your map, you have a map. And on the map, you will see the 2024 new trees for Murphy. Here are the species. Something that's very important to this Parks Board is that we plant native species. There is a wee debate, are there 17 or 18 native oaks? Well, doesn't matter, we're going to have all of them. And so we would like then also for you to approve an expenditure from the Tolliver Fund. And as you know, the Tolliver Fund, the money was gifted so that the Parks Board could maintain and plant, never remove, trees from Murphy. So you'll see the list that is there. And we would like for you to approve up to $3,500 to purchase these trees, some sourced from Ancient Roots Native Nursery, and you'll see that on your list, others from Burr Oak Tree Nursery. And I'm trying to think if there's any.
DW on the list?
Well, that's the Ancient Roots. So that's how you know. I'm sorry, that's her first name.
Oh,
so we
okay.
should have, that actually, maybe it should have said Ancient Roots, but at any rate, that's the nursery
Just
from
to
where.
clarify, her name is not Ancient Roots.
No, her name is Donna Wright.
Donna Wright Worcester.
And she just recently gave a talk at WMI. At any rate, doesn't matter. So you can see where the trees will be sourced. You can see where they're going to be planted by virtue of the little code. You know, tree number 1 goes to where number 1 is on your map.
Gotcha.
Also, you all have notes to the back as to how did we decide this? Was it done willy-nilly? Did we consider understory versus overstory trees? Yeah. Did we consider where is low water in Murphy? Yeah, we did. Did we consider where do people walk? Is there space to fly a kite? Are there spaces still to put a blanket down and have a picnic? All of those things we considered, and for Parks Board, I'm telling you, this is a crackerjack group, and we've done a lot of work on this. So we would just ask that you would approve that we can spend up to $3,500 on these trees out of the Tolliver Fund.
You don't know.
There's 20 in the top. I so move.
Have a motion to
We
move.
approve the expenditure of up to $3,500 for the trees.
Yeah, I second it.
Out of the Tolliver.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. All
Bravo,
opposed?
thank you.
You so much.
Thank you.
Jeannie, and Parks Board, and all of you. Thank you so much.
Happy
Yeah.
we're planting trees.
I recall great memories of Arbor Day with Lois Gray, and my kids were in school. They always had a big day with Lois Gray. Yes, we had some good times there with that. Thank you again. Okay, next we have RGRG 5K event permit request from Mr. Rick Johnson. And Rick's got it all filled out here, but you want to fill us in just
I
quickly
will.
on what y'all are proposing, Rick?
Thank you. I am Rick Johnson. I'm a board member of RGRG, that's Revere Gymnasium Restoration Group, the big building uptown. It's our 24th year. We wanted to have a fundraiser. We haven't had a 5K in New Harmony since 19. We had several before that. We're going to use the same route, which I give them. It goes around town, it goes out on the trail, comes back, and everything starts and finishes at the gym. We will need to block off right in front of the gym. We'll block that off so we start and stop there, and we'll block off, won't block off the streets. We'll have some barricades there with people telling where to go. And then when we cross Church Street at the liquor store there, going toward the trails, we will have a county policeman or a town cop, wherever we can convince to do that, to just make sure that cars stop and don't run over anybody. As you can probably guess and see it. Also, told tonight I have to be quick, so I'm moving very fast. It's in conjunction with Arbor Day, by the way, now. It's going to be the 19th.
It is the 19th.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
we'll block it off from about 7 till 10 max. Of course, the race only takes, it's a walk run. It's 3.1 mile. We suggest all of you sign up. I've got some sheets here for you. Or if you want to be a donor, we can put you on the back of a shirt and all that. Dry fit shirts is only $25, okay? It's a big fundraiser for us. We have 2 of those a year. We just need the money for, we are a 501c3 nonprofit, and we would like to do that. And then they can go from there to the Arbor Day, and it would be a great celebration that day. So I need a couple of things you to vote that we can have this. The second is that I just realized, or just found out, there's a $50 fee now for registering for that, and I would maybe ask you to waive that. We're on a pretty tight margin here for a nonprofit. If you can't, that's fine, but and that's about what I have. So anybody would like to sign up, I do have forms here.
Okay.
I'll leave them.
We have a motion to approve the 5K for the RGRG group.
And it's the 19th.
Yes.
I so move, and I move.
Let's just get this and we'll discuss. What do you mean? Well, and you so move.
Well, he asked if we would
I know.
waive the application.
Yeah.
So what you want to
Well, you want to discuss first? I'm sorry. Yeah. Well, I'm in favor of that. I'm in favor.
I think that's what he was going to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought we would discuss after the motion.
Before we, I'm fine with doing that. I'm just asking the question, have we done this for other nonprofits before where we waived the?
I don't know.
We can say it's a thank you for the RGRG donating the use for the Halloween party this year.
I so
Which-
move.
There we go.
There we
So the community Halloween party will be back in the gym this year with Kiwanis, One New Harmony sponsoring the Baptist Church. A bunch of the businesses in town, so.
I would like, not just with this, I would like to say that I would like to see us probably do something along those same lines for all of our local 501c3s, not charge them for permits for events when they're trying to raise money for.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'd like to
You do it
go.
for one, we ought to be doing it for all.
Yeah, because we got another one right behind this, so, but I'm all in favor of that. So we have a motion to approve the permit application and waive the fee.
I'll take an application.
And a second?
Second.
And a second. Any other discussion? All
Thank
in
you, Rick.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Rick.
Thank you,
Thanks for
guys.
all y'all do
Appreciate
down
it.
there. We appreciate you guys.
Anybody like a form, I'll leave them on it.
Yeah. I have a little flyer for it. I have a little flyer for it up there too.
Rick,
Oh, it's
you can leave
100th
some, you can
anniversary.
leave some out there.
It's the 100th anniversary of the gym this year.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's
It's
right.
pretty cool. We got shirts uptown and, yeah, it's pretty neat. It's
Where
a
are
big
your-
event for us.
Where are your shirts? Where are you
The
selling?
shirts are at, Deborah put it online today.
Okay.
One of the stores uptown are doing it for us.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Plus,
Thank you.
this one you sign up, you also get a shirt. So,
Thank you.
thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Okay, next we have an application for Meet in the Street event permit. Mary Beth was gonna be here, but had to be away, and she asked.
Fall cleanup day.
Do it?
Did you want to announce fall cleanup day officially?
Oh, did I skip one? Did I skip one? Yeah, okay, I announced it in the other, I'm sorry, I did skip over that, thank you. Festival application for Meet in the Street, it's a One New Harmony event, which of course is our, 501c3 for the businesses and Main Street community, Main Street group here. Officers, Laura Arnberg here can answer questions on that. Carrie Mobley, Gail Angel. It's the community potluck. I'm sure most of you have been involved or been there for this wonderful event. I think it's probably the fourth or fifth year of the Meet in the Street. Date of the event is 10/6/24, so October 6th, 24. Start time 4, end time 9. Number of participants 300 plus people. Location would be 2 blocks on Main Street, 500 and 600 blocks. So that would be the Capers block and the block just north of it. There, Wilson's building, so right through the intersection there. I think it's where it was last time. No animals, it says. List of individuals, entities to benefit would be charitable entities, 501c3, specifically the $5 charge per ticket will go to One New Harmony to be used for expenses of the Firefly Festival. List of sanitation facilities, Rivera Center. List of provisions for crowd noise. We will need roadblocks at the north and south end of Main, into 500, 600 blocks of Tavern and Main intersection. Loudspeaker will be located in the middle of the Tavern Main intersection. The vast majority of attendees will be local, so very little parking will be needed and can be accommodated with side street parking.
So it's going on Main again.
Yes, on Main Street from, say Pharmacy to
Just like
Lally
last year,
Hollow or
yeah.
somewhere right down through there.
What about the
So.
ORVs?
Hey, watch out there. Let's see, list of persons or organizations which are authorized by the applicant to participate in the activity, One New Harmony and New Harmony Business Associates. List of proposed equipment, vehicles, staging, bleachers, tents, shelters be utilized, electricity requirements, tables and chairs, which the gym has graciously donated those in years past. I think they may have made a donation to the gym or something in years past. Proof of liability insurance is on file with the town. Mary Beth Guard, applicant name, hereby agree to the following: regulate conduct of participants, investigate any complaints, notify appropriate law enforcement agencies of any suspected activities, and comply with all terms, and so on and so forth. Promptly notify the zoning administrator of any changes or additions to the information, and provide each information required by the town council to properly administer the issuance of the permit. So that's the permit application for Meet in the Streets. And I guess do we want to consider waiving that fee as well? It's up to the board. So we need a motion first, I guess.
Nope, I've had my share of that. It's your turn.
Okay, I make the motion that we issue a permit and waive the fee.
They've actually already paid the fee, but it says that here anyway.
Yeah. We'll
have a motion. We need a
Sorry.
second.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any other discussion?
I'd just say, there is a rain day. We rented the gym this year, so if it rains, the party goes into the gym, so it's gonna happen either way, just so everybody knows.
I didn't know that.
Oh, that's good.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, one last thing. I need to make a unanimous consent to add to the agenda a quote for, or to add to the agenda a quote for a town box scraper to work on the trails behind our tractor and any other gravel drives and parking lots and stuff. It was needed to more specifically deal with the narrow trails and keep our gravel from spreading way out, when they use just a regular scraper blade on the back of the tractor and stuff. So we got a couple quotes, and I'm proposing a quote from Little Tractor and Equipment from.
Well, hang on. You're asking us right now.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
To deal with it.
To deal with it. Yeah, consent to add this to the agenda. I'm sorry. Thank you, Rob.
I will second that
All
motion.
right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm ready to get out of here.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now, a quote for $1,744 from Little Tractor and Equipment for a box scrape blade to go on the back of our big Ford tractor to work on the trails, the gravel road that runs back to the trash disposal area around the fire department, anything that's gravel. It just keeps the gravel more concise and not throwing it out like you would when you plow snow, trying to get it off the side of the road. Not mansplaining, I'm just telling you.
Well,
Okay. And
anybody-
Tom.
Anybody going down to the recent gravel job will witness
Yes.
that our scraper has scraped everything off to the side. And,
Right.
you know, nobody gave me this advice ahead of time.
And I didn't think about
But
it.
it's all retrievable, and this will be the perfect tool in the future, they assure me, so.
Yeah.
Are you making a motion?
I'm making a motion that we purchase this so
I second
our
it.
guys can do a job easier and better.
We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Can I just ask one kind of related?
Sure.
When is the small dump truck gonna be fixed? Do we know that?
That's, you're out.
We have to
I
vote.
know I got a
Can
border,
we-
Get this
oh,
voted.
all
Unanimous
right.
vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
Now ask your
All right, ask your question. I've asked, and they haven't heard from
They,
me.
I
so
have asked
I've
too, and
asked.
they don't know.
Our small dump truck that picks up the yard waste is in the shop with transmission.
Yeah, so that's why you
Repairs,
see the
so-
big dump truck.
So you see the big one, which needs repairs as well. So we got a lot of things that need repairs, but hang in there with us.
That's it.
So that's all.
No.
Approval of
Wait, wait, wait,
wait.
I was getting there. Y'all give me, that's all of that.
Okay.
Okay, I need a motion for approval of claims.
So moved.
We have a motion and Alvin, a second, please.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We have a motion for adjournment.
Yes.
And a second. These are going way too long. We're adjourned.
Lord help us.
Woo!
Nice work, you guys. Nice work.
Goodness gracious.
Good presentation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for your, always.
You know, I was thinking,
See, I'm gonna go for a drink.
30 days of freedom. 30 days of freedom.
I'm not
We're
gonna
not
be
altering them, just.
just by happenstance, which is probably good anyway, but I'll be in Vermont, so.
Okay, are you gonna try to get on?
I know, but like.
Well, that's
Just let us know. Let us know.
We're going to Sierra Brothers.
Okay.
So,
Thank
A silly
Okay,
question
just let us
anybody
know.
can answer. On the big trash days, can paint cans be put out there?
You know, I don't know that answer. I don't know if that's.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. I don't think so, because they have a special chemical day off, we don't, but the county does.
Okay, the county has one?
Yeah, the county has
Okay.
one for special things like that.
I'll watch for it.
Yeah.
Or I'll look it up, maybe.
Yeah.
Say it publicly and then wait too long. Your comment on
We
the
gotta
calendar
sign
not
it.
being up to date.
Yeah.
We're launching a new website next week. And
Yay!
all of the members of One New Harmony can now directly load their own events. So if they're not on there, it's their fault, not our fault.
Okay, yeah, and like, I love the kiosk,
Yeah.
but even that isn't being updated because I walk all the time. That's the easiest thing for me is to look at that or the window, you know, but I have tried to go online and it's like, there's nothing there.
Well, we're hoping this way it'll be easier if people, and
And it will bring people in too.
Yeah.
So, all right,
And we'll
thank you.
also be having, there's a sign up now for newsletters on the website.
Oh, okay.
So as those events feed into the calendar, we'll automatically send a newsletter once a month saying what events are coming up.
That would be great.
So if your name's not on there, look out for that one. That comes
Okay.
up too.
Thank you.
I know, but I mean, there's no signature.
I'm glad you brought it up. I talk with my hands.
Oh, is this it? I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did that like 1, 2, 3? I'm missing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Tom. Sorry, didn't mean to confuse you.
Man, if you want money to end the meeting, it's time to do it. Everybody's like, yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Take it.
What time?
Oh, thank you. You didn't hear all that.
What time is it?
It is 7.